So President Trump ordering a new set of strikes on Iranian military targets for a third straight night yesterday.
This as another blockade in the Strait of Hormuz is scheduled to begin this afternoon.
Aishah Hasnie is live at the White House with the very latest. Aishah.
Hey, good morning. A lot of firepower, a lot of back and forth. Let's get started with what happened overnight as the president brings down his iron fist on Iran. The U.S. pounded Iran for 5 hours last night. CENTCOM says they hit military targets across 6 different locations, but did not say if they struck Pickaxe Mountain. That's something the president said was a potential target for a nice, big, fat shot. Also seeing reports that the IRGC carried out drone and missile strikes on U.S. military targets in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan. And a Dutch shipping firm says one of its vessels was struck off the coast of Oman. All of this hours after the president said the U.S. was taking control of the strait.
We will end up just controlling the whole thing. And what they're doing is being very foolish, very stupid, and they've treated people horribly. They've killed 52,000 protesters so far that we can determine. It might be more than that, but 52,000 protesters have been killed, and it's really a terrible situation.
The president also announced a new 20% fee in the strait, turning the tables on Iran. He said Iran and anyone doing business with them has to pony up.
We're putting the blockade back. And it's a blockade not for anybody but Iran. In other words, anybody doing business with Iran can't go through. Everyone else will be able to go through. So it's a blockade. It's a very strong blockade. The blockade was probably more effective even than hitting them, but I think the combination is the thing that really does it.
Iran's foreign minister posting this in response on X, writing, POTUS is absolutely right. Whoever provides secure and safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz should be compensated for this service. Iran has always been the guardian of the strait and will remain so forever. 20% is, of course, too much. We will be fair. Meanwhile, Iraq's prime minister is scheduled to meet with the president at the White House today. Iraq ships a lot of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. That has slowed down considerably since these strikes began, since this Strait of Hormuz exchange began. The president announced as well that he's going to be addressing the nation this Thursday, prime time at 9 o'clock. Back to you guys.
All right. Thanks so much, Aishah.
Thanks, Aishah.
So the Iranians are doing these back channels and trying to say that that these junior members of the IRGC are the ones that are doing the firing. And I don't think the president is taking them at the word. He's still hitting them very hard. I did find it very interesting yesterday what he told Hugh Hewitt about Pickaxe Mountain, that we're going to be taking it very soon. I think this was bound to happen. The president gave peace a shot. The Iranians didn't want to take him up on that offer, and they're trying to leverage the strait, and the president is making very clear that he's going to finish the job.
Yeah, the president has said he's going to charge 20% a fee on all cargo moving through the strait. Here he is.
We've had 10 deals with these people, and so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're going to keep the strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. We guarded the strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, they wouldn't. It's amazing. It's we never made. We guarded it for nothing, and now we're going to guard it, and we're going to get paid for guarding it. A lot of money. But we just want to be reimbursed for doing all of this, for putting our people in danger. But we're really not putting people, we're really saving people.
So it's going to be interesting. Look, over the weekend, Iran was getting a test to see if they were going to be serious about this memorandum of understanding, if there was going to be progress. And what did they do? They failed it by doing the very thing that we were testing them on, which is to see if they were going to fire on ships in the strait. And they did that. Iran, make no mistake, killed their own shot at a deal. Now the president is saying, we're going back to striking you hard, as you pointed out, LJ. And also, he's talking about this taking over the strait and even levying a fee for it. We'll see if that actually happens. It does seem to be a signature part of President Trump's playbook, which is when he needs to create space for some talks and negotiations, he does that while at the same time maintaining that he is going, you better believe what he says, which is going to hit harder and harder if you're going to fail that test and not try and seek true in good faith negotiation.
Well, the fee is just so that America is not just paying for the defense of the Strait. I mean, if people don't want to pay the fee, then they can easily just help us with the security of the Strait. We're not getting the majority of our oil, not even 10%, I think, of our oil from the Strait. Travels through there. We're energy independent. If this is going to be a global market, then the globe needs to help secure the Strait. If not, then maybe they do need to pay us some money to secure the passage of their oil.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're really there protecting Europe more than we are our own interests because geographically speaking, they're more at risk because they're closer, or Israel, some of these other countries are more at risk than we are. But we're paying the majority of this. And Donald Trump, this is all on his shoulders. So he's saying, look, if y'all are going to charge, we're going to charge. You're not charging. We're going to be the ones in control of this strait. If you want to take control, we wanted it to be international waters, but if not, I'm not afraid to be able to take charge. We have more than 50,000 U.S. service members currently deployed all across the Middle East. And these American forces, they are vigilant, they are ready, and they are lethal. Be warned, Iran.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.